All right, let's get right into it. If you're a YouTube creator, you need to listen up because some huge things are happening on the platform. We're talking about a massive wave of rule changes rolling out all through 2025. And trust me, these updates are probably going to impact your channel directly. So let's break down exactly what's coming your way.
So the real question here is your channel ready for 2025? Because these aren't just little tweaks we're talking about. These are major updates to the community guidelines, and they're going to touch pretty much everything from gaming content and political commentary all the way to how you handle sponsored posts. So yeah, we need to get into the specifics.
Okay, let's start with what's happening in the first half of the year. It looks like YouTube is kicking things off by targeting some of the trickiest and, let's be honest, most controversial types of content on the platform.
So here's the roadmap for that first wave. In January, they're tackling election misinformation. Then in February, there's a really specific update to the harassment policy. March is all about cracking down on illegal gambling. And in May, we get new rules for violent content. Let's dig into each one of these.
First up, January. YouTube's getting way stricter with its rules on election misinformation. And what's really interesting here is how specific they're being. This new policy is targeting claims about past elections that are, provably false. So what does that actually mean? Well, if you upload a video claiming, say, the election results were hacked, and you have zero credible proof to back that up, that's now a direct violation. The video is coming down.
Then in February, we see the harassment policy get an update for the AI age. This is a wild one. The platform is now explicitly banning AI-generated videos, deepfakes, of people who have passed away where the video makes it seem like they're describing their own death. It's a pretty disturbing trend they're responding to, and they're making it crystal clear this kind of content is a major violation and will get taken down, period.
Come March, the spotlight turns to illegal gambling. And listen, if you do sponsorships, this is a huge one for you. Promoting any unapproved betting apps or making these wild claims of guaranteed profit, that's all off limits now. So a video with a title like, "Earn $5,000 a day from this betting app," yeah, that's going to be considered a direct violation and will get removed.
And to wrap up the first half of the year, May is all about stricter rules for violent content. So if your video has graphic stuff, we're talking blood, torture, or a violent death, even if it's fake, like in a movie scene, it's now going to get an automatic age restriction. It's a really clear signal that YouTube is trying to be much more protective of its younger viewers by default.
All right, so that's the first half of the year. Now let's jump into the second half of 2025, because this is where things get even more interesting. These next few changes are less about specific types of videos and more about big, fundamental changes to how the platform itself works, plus some major policy cleanups.
Okay, first up, a pretty huge platform change. Get ready to say goodbye to an old friend, because the iconic trending tab, it's officially gone. In its place, YouTube is rolling out more specific charts. So you'll see a chart for top music, one for gaming, one for news, and so on. This is a really big shift away from a general what's hot feed towards something way more curated and specific to what you're into.
Next, in October, YouTube is completely revamping how it handles medical misinformation. Instead of just adding another little rule here or there, they're basically creating one big, overarching policy. This new approach pulls together and expands on a bunch of their old rules, including all that stuff about COVID-19.
So yeah, that specific COVID-19 policy we all got familiar with, it's now just one part of this much bigger rule. Basically, this means that any content with false medical claims that goes against what major health organizations are saying, well, it's at risk. So claims like smoking is not addictive or saying COVID is fake, those now fall under this big umbrella. And the consequences are serious: video removal and a channel strike.
And finally, in November, there's a huge two-part update specifically for the gaming community. Okay, part one. They're cracking down hard on gambling that uses digital items with real-world value. Think game skins. So promoting any site where you can win real money with your skins, that's banned. Part two is about violence in games. And it's pretty much the same rule we saw earlier. If you're showing really graphic violence like a torture scene in a game, that video is going to get age restricted.
Whew. Okay, I know that was a ton of information. So the big question is, what does all this actually mean for your channel? Let's boil it all down into a simple checklist you can use to make sure you're staying on the right side of these new rules.
So here's the takeaway. You really need to go back and audit your channel, and I mean both new and old content, with these 4 things in mind. First, look at your titles and thumbnails. Is there anything misleading or clickbaity? Second, review any claims you've ever made about medical topics or elections. Third,
Check for any graphic violence, in real life or in gaming. And finally, be super careful about promoting any kind of gambling, whether it's with real money or digital stuff like skins. These are for sure the main areas YouTube is going to be watching.
And you absolutely have to remember what's at stake here. If you violate these new rules, it's not just a slap on the wrist. There are basically 3 things that can happen. 1, your video gets age restricted, which kills its audience and your ability to monetize it. 2, your video just gets removed completely. Or 3, and this is the big one, you get a channel strike. And as you know, that puts the future of your entire channel at risk.
So as we wrap this all up, it kind of leaves us with a big question to think about, right? Are all these new rules really making YouTube a safer place for everyone, or are they just making it a much stricter, more difficult place for creators to navigate? It's something I think the whole community is going to be watching really closely as we head into 2025. What do you think?